These boxes arrived at our door some time ago, and they've been sitting languishing in the living room. But there's some nice blue boxes there and some nice tan boxes here, so a little bit of a surprise. And just as a hint, sitting behind the wheel back here, you can see my son-in-law Louis, who's come to visit and help me with a job.
Sailboat in the moonlight and June. Wouldn't that be heaven? Oh, heaven just for two. A soft breeze on a June night and June. What a perfect setting for letting dreams come true.
Oh my gosh, that looks good.
This is a big deal. We've got the boat in the water, obviously, and the sticky uppy thing is up, and we're ready to put our sails on. And as we promised you earlier, we've got those lovely new sails from Mac that we want to show you. We haven't even seen them ourselves yet, and poor Deb's at work, so I'm going to put these up so maybe I can sneak out for a sail early. But there she is in the water, looking good. That head sail is going to go on the newly rebuilt furler, and we'll see how it works. going to try an unboxing of another kind today. These boxes arrived at our door some time ago and they've been sitting languishing in the living room. But there's some nice blue boxes there and some nice tan boxes here. So a little bit of a surprise. And just as a hint, sitting behind the wheel back here, you can see my son-in-law Louis, who's come to visit and help me with a job. Well, while Louis is sorting out what's what on the boat, he's running around trying to figure out how we're going to install these goods. I brought in some of the materials. Now, there were 4 of these boxes, so I'm going to have to assume they're all the same item. So we'll open this one up first, and let's get started. Well, we got those boxes off the dock and loaded down below, and I want to share with you a new company that's joined us for this refit. Battleborn are one of the premier companies in North America right now producing lithium-ion batteries that are suitable for the marine industry. We've been really lucky to get them on board with us, and they've had their engineers discuss our system and our expectations for using electrical on the boat, and they've come up with a system that's perfect for Windover and perfect for our lifestyle. So what we've got are 4 of these 100 amp hour lithium ion batteries, and they will replace the 4 6-volt lead acid batteries that are currently in our system. Those batteries are virtually brand new, but they won't give us nearly the capacity that these will. And when I say capacity, I actually mean usable capacity, because lead acid batteries only give you a fraction of the power that's in them before they need some sort of charge. Manufacturers recommend that you only discharge a lead acid system by 50%. So I've got 240 usable amp hours in my lead acid batteries if they're in good health. The lithium ion ones will give me 400, so almost double the usable capacity out of this system. Furthermore, these batteries have a really long life to them. This battery can be left for up to 1 year with a full charge, and it won't lose power. Furthermore, these batteries will last 10 times longer than a conventional lead acid system. So if you're getting, a couple, 3 years out of a lead acid system, you can get 10 times that out of lithium ion. Another benefit of lithium ion is that they weigh 1/5 of a lead acid system. If you've ever carried batteries down below on a sailboat and tucked them into the hold, you'll know what I'm talking about. But 1/5 of the weight is a real lightweight battery in comparison to lead acid. Now, Battleborn also sell other products, and one of the companies they work with quite regularly is Victron Energy. Victron Energy is probably one of the best known marine electronics companies, and they supply a full range of inverters and chargers and DC to DC regulators, these sorts of things. All kinds of management equipment that you need in order to run a lithium ion system. Now, we had a 30 amp battery charger, just a conventional charger, and we virtually had no monitoring system whatsoever on board. So they've recommended to us that we pick up a few other items, and Battleborn's been kind enough to put a package together for us. First of all, we're going to have a digital control center. Further to that, we've got this battery monitoring system from Victron, which is a common item actually on boats today. A lot of people are using this Victron monitoring system. This tells you a ton of information about what your batteries are looking like, and how they're discharging and how they're charging. Thirdly, they provided us with a DC to DC charger, and this is for managing power that's supplied through our alternator to the battery system. So it's kind of like a digital echo charger that'll give you some isolation. So anyway, I'm frankly not really sure how this is going to be used, and Louis will explain this further as we go on. And finally, today we're going to be installing a Victron Energy Multi-Plus inverter charger that's going to kind of round out the whole system. So we'll show you more of that as we move along. We want to thank Battleborn Batteries for coming on board with us, and we really look forward to having all this energy at our disposal as we go out and adventure. So we've made a little bit of progress anyway. We've managed to remove, and I'll show you the other system. The other system is out. We just have yet to pull the charger out. And the new system, which is currently unpacked and sitting here, it's all ready to go back in again. Louie's been very busy tearing out old wiring. We got our battery box all cleaned up, and Louie's over there with his head in the compartment here. So we've been having discussions about the kind of system that we're going to have on board, and the plan is to keep it as simple as possible. We are two older folks, Luddites as it were, and we don't want to end up with a system that's too complex for us to maintain ourselves. So Louie's going to keep it really simple. We do have two alternators here. We're going to take the smaller of the two and we're going to use it for charging our starting battery only, and the larger of the two, which is a 100 amp alternator, and it's going to be used for charging the lithium ion. Another thing we're going to do too is we're going to put the windlass on one of the guest switches that's down below, so that when we turn on the house system, the windlass then is live. We just discovered that the windlass has been live all the time the way it was wired up, so it's going to be repaired. Also, there's never really been a switch for the engine, so anybody who walks into our cockpit, if the key is in the ignition, they can start the engine. There's no way to shut it off, and the engine was live all the time. So we're going to put the engine on its own switch, an on-off switch, so we'll have to turn that on in order to fire it. I guess that's about all I can really delve into right now, but Louie's got the panel open, and he's been reading those crazy manuals, and let's just have a look over here and see what he's up to. Is it going to be simple, Lou?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Anyway, we're having a lot of fun. Yeah, I don't know what else I can share with you, but the boat's quite a mess, and it's going to get messier before we're done, but we're making headway. Well, we just got the power back on down here, so I've got some lighting I can turn on, and we can go around and give you a little tour. The actual installation of the batteries and the new electrical system, well, that's kind of like watching paint dry. So we'll just show you the end results, which are spectacular. I'm just going to walk you through the system, and maybe Louie can give us a little bit of what's for on the whole thing, because he's the expert. So first of all, I should say that in the corner we've yet to install our MPPT controller, which is going to go underneath here with this for a mate, a spectacular creature, and with all kinds of fantastic features that I've yet to fully digest. Up here is the controller for that, the digital multi-controller. This, of course, is the Victron Energy monitoring system, which we had on the last Windover, and it tells you how much you're drawing and temperature of the batteries. I mean, it tells you everything. We also added a double pole. What's that called, Louie?
It's just a shore power breaker. Like
Shore power breaker, yeah.
30 amp.
So we used to have this single pole one here, but now we have a double pole one, which is much safer, and apparently it's ABYC compliant.
Exact.
Which we are not currently. So, and then the star of the show, they're down here. So, we've got 3 of the Battleborn 100 amp hour lithium batteries in here, and you can see them here as well. And then one more resides over on this side in a battery box, and we're going to add one starting battery as well, which is this little fella right back here. He's going to get put in his own box, and he's going to sit all by his lonesome, and the lithium batteries are going to be taking up all the boxes. This system is going to give us some super advantages because we're able to use all 400 amp hours, and they're hardly impacted when I turn something on, which is, we're watching this new monitoring system, and when things are running, they don't seem to like they take everything in stride. They're a pretty strong battery system. What's changed from what we did before, Louis?
The starting battery was just constantly parallel with the house bank, so it was just never isolated altogether. So we separate everything, put in a main switch for the engine, main battery switch for the engine, and yeah, that was a big change right there, and yeah, that's the biggest thing I can think of.
Now the bonding, there were some bonding issues with the DC, was not bonded?
Well, yeah, that's not yet resolved, but the alternating current, the 110 circuitry had a ground that was not bonded to the DC ground, which usually would have to be, and it's not to be doing it properly, you'd have to install the galvanic isolator. I think now is the way to go. So that's maybe something you'll have to look into eventually to avoid some galvanic problem in your boat. But yeah, so
now the alternators, you separated them, so one is charging the starting battery and the other charges the house. Is that
exactly?
Yeah, a smarter way to go.
Yep.
Huh? Well, we've added an awful lot of wire in there, and thank you very much for all the work you've done. My goodness.
Pleasure.
Yeah, it's been spectacular watching you work.
Thanks for letting me use your boat as a guinea pig.
Yeah, well that's
first time I put lithium-ion battery in, so
really, yeah,
it's not that much more complicated.
Yeah. And you seem to be really impressed with those batteries. Like
it's. I'm excited to see along the way, you know, how it's gonna evolve and how they're gonna work out. But I'm pretty confident that it'll be the best ever.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Fantastic.
We'll see.
Well, I'm pretty much exhausted right now. Actually, we've been trying to get everything ready so we can go out for our first sail. Which of course is not too far away. The sails have been installed, the Mac pack has been installed, there's been all sorts of activities going on, and I've not filmed everything, but I've got a little bit of video of what's been happening. So we're just going to get a few little housekeeping things finished up, and then hopefully we'll be able to do some sailing and show you how this beast sails, which is really the reason we're doing all this work anyway, other than just to make her really beautiful. So we've accomplished that, and the next thing is to get it sailing. So Louis and Hannah are going to come with us. You'll get to meet them too. There was a lot of talk. You might remember when we spoke to Joel and Michael, from Bums on a Boat. They knew Hannah and Louis, as did the folks from Tula's Endless Summer as well, Billy and Sierra. And anyway, I guess they're pretty popular folks down there in the South Caribbean, so we'll introduce you to them as well as we go along. That was Louis you just heard from. So anyway, onward and upward. This thing's a heavy beast. Oh my goodness.
Need help?
Talk to me.